Hey, welcome! Today we're going to totally reframe how you think about explainer videos. Forget just calling them marketing content. We're talking about how to turn them into your best, most tireless sales assistant, one that works for you 24/7. Okay, let's jump right in.
So let's start with a question that, probably keeps a lot of us up at night. Is your sales funnel leaking? You do all this work, you get people interested, they start clicking around, and then poof, they're just gone. It's a super common and, let's be honest, an incredibly frustrating problem. For years, we've had this idea of the sales funnel drilled into our heads. This clean, predictable, straight line. But the reality? It has absolutely nothing to do with that old theory. The real buyer journey today is, well, it's a chaotic, tangled mess. It's anything but a straight line.
And that leads us to a pretty big realization. The classic funnel model is just plain broken. It's like using an old, outdated map to navigate a city that's completely changed. Buyers today are totally in the driver's seat, and they just don't follow the neat little paths we lay out for them.
Think about a path like this, which happens all the time. A prospect sees a quick video on LinkedIn. They immediately jump over to your pricing page way before we plan for them to. Then they bounce to customer stories, skim a use case, and then they just disappear, only to pop back up weeks later ready for a demo. This isn't an exception, you guys. This is the new normal. So in all of that chaos, what's the one thing we can actually count on? It's the buyer's fundamental human needs. No matter where they are, no matter what they're clicking on, they are always looking for clarity. They're searching for reasons to trust you, and they're trying to build up the confidence they need to actually take that next step. And this right here, this is where we make our pivot. Instead of trying to force people down a broken funnel, what if we use videos as decision accelerators? Think of them as tools that meet the buyer exactly where they are, giving them precisely what they need in that very moment.
So, how do they actually pull this off? Well, it breaks down into 3 really simple but super powerful steps. First, they provide instant clarity. They answer the question, what is this and why should I care? Second, they build trust, by showing instead of just telling. And third, they create momentum, giving the buyer a little nudge forward instead of letting them get stuck and overthink things.
Okay, let's just lock in this definition because it's really, really important. A decision accelerator isn't some huge campaign. It's a micro moment. It's that perfectly timed little piece of reassurance that closes the gap between someone being kind of curious and them actually deciding to do something.
All right, theory's great, but let's get down to brass tacks. Where do you actually put these things to get the biggest bang for your buck? This is the high-intent playbook. It's all about zeroing in on those moments when your buyer is this close to making a choice. Now, we're going to focus on 4 critical hotspots on your website, places where friction and doubt can totally kill a deal. And to really see this strategy in action, we're going to dive deep into 2 of the absolute most powerful examples, your pricing page and your demo booking page.
Okay, first up, the pricing page. Buyers land here way earlier than you'd think. They just want to know, hey, is this even in my ballpark? But what they often find is a wall of confusing tiers and options, which is just overwhelming.
The fix? A short, punchy video. And when I say short, I mean it. Brevity is everything here. We're talking 30 to 45 seconds max. That's just enough time to break down the tiers and guide them to the right choice, with absolutely zero fluff.
And the most important part is to frame the whole thing around value, not just a list of features. So instead of just listing what's in each plan, a headline like this immediately screams ROI. It answers the real question that's in their head. What's in it for me?
Now for our second play. And trust me, this one is a big one. The demo booking page. This is the moment of peak intent, but it's also incredibly fragile. The prospect is right there. Their mouse is hovering over the button, but so many little doubts can make them hesitate and just leave.
This is the silent question that kills conversions. What am I actually getting myself into here? Is this going to be some high-pressure sales pitch? Who am I even going to be talking to? All that uncertainty creates anxiety, and anxiety leads to abandonment every single time. A short video placed right next to that form is the perfect antidote. In just 60 seconds, you can literally show them what the demo is going to be like. You can set crystal clear expectations, maybe even introduce the friendly person they'll be meeting. You replace their anxiety with confidence, and that directly boosts your form completions. It just works.
Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. Hey, my team still plans everything around the classic top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel model. And that's totally cool. This whole decision accelerator idea fits perfectly into that structure. It's really just about tweaking the psychology of the video for each stage. So at the top of the funnel, right? The goal is just awareness. A video that just dumps a list of features is going to fall completely flat. What works is a video that actually dramatizes the pain point, something that makes the viewer sit up and say, oh, wow, I do have that problem, and it's worse than I thought. Then, in the middle of the funnel, your buyer knows they have a problem, but they don't trust you yet. The big mistake here is assuming they do. The smart move is an educational video that shows them why your approach is fundamentally better than the old, broken way they're used to.
And finally, at the bottom of the funnel, your buyer is this close to committing. Now is not the time to ignore their last-minute fears. This is where you use video as a commitment catalyst. Show them how easy onboarding is. Show them what your support looks like. Show them the real results they can expect. Reassure, reassure, reassure.
Okay, let's bring this all home. When you start placing these videos strategically at these high-intent moments, they really do become something more than just content. They become your 24/7 sales assistant, always on, always ready to provide that bit of clarity and reassurance.
Of course, explainer videos aren't some magic wand for every single business, so here's a quick gut check for you. If your product is complex, or if you have to get multiple decision makers on the same page, then yes, they're an absolute must. But if your product is a simple commodity and you're just competing on having the lowest price, you can probably save your effort.
I want to leave you with this one thought. A buyer's journey is really just a chain of little decisions, right? And your funnel is only as strong as its weakest link. A really well-placed explainer video doesn't just add another piece of content, it actually strengthens the entire chain, and that's what stops the leaks. And that brings us to the final and, honestly, the most important question that you should be asking yourself. I want you to look at your buyer's journey. From that very first click all the way to the final decision, where's your weakest link? Where are people getting confused or losing confidence or just dropping off the map? Because that spot, that is exactly where your first decision accelerator needs to go.